Bivol versus Beterbiev for the light heavyweight championship of the world. This fight is currently closing the show right now when it comes down to light heavyweight matchups that have gone down in history. And as we know, that the boxer is always the one that typically comes away with this fight. Artur Beterbiev wins the fight. Even without throwing body shots, he won a majority decision. You see it live right here in the building. And I'm going to break down the fight in quarters. Beterbiev boxed in a manner where as soon as you saw those guys come out, you knew exactly that he was going to win the fight. It just looked like no matter how good Bivol would be, that it's not going to be enough. So special shouts out to all of you guys. Bivol did not win the fight. What's going on, Dana? Special shouts out to Dana. And I see my man Snow. What's up, Snow? Bivol did not win. I'm sorry. And Carter, what's up? Split decision draw, majority decision for Beterbiev. And let me see my man Michael, and I'm gonna break the fight down. Bivol he wasn't robbed. He just did a lot of what you supposed to do. But the thing about it, and when you're talking about boxing, these guys in Saudi, your excellency, they put on fights for fight entertainment. And some point in time, you got to remember, this is not the Olympics. This is not use the whole ring all the time. This is who's the better fighter. This is prize fighting. So when you think about why is it that decisions go this way, is because you saw one guy trying to fight the whole night, also landing punches, bringing a methodical mindset, and the other guy trying not to fight and picking his opportunities. That's great. But when you pick those opportunities, they have to be dazzling. Go back and watch Marvelous Marvin Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard hadn't been in the ring in 5 years at that level. Came back and fought the greatest fighter in that era, toe to toe. He moved, but when he stopped and fought, he stopped and threw punches like nobody's business. That's the difference between A-level fighters and A-plus level fighters. Now, did I pick Beterbiev to win? Absolutely. But throughout that first quarter of the fight, what you saw was Beterbiev having to chase him down, catching his punches on the glove, and Bivol throwing that jab, flossing jab, beautiful jab. But when you finish off with that jab and you got to throw that combination, you got to go back to people who used to throw the combination. Go back to Sugar Ray Robinson. Go back to Jake LaMotta. You got to learn how to let punches go. When you say let the punches go, it has to be in a rhythmic manner that the crowd and the onlookers are looking like, oh, wow, you got to dazzle people because we pay money. This is not about sparring at the gym and boxing in national tournaments. This is prize fighting where you bite down on your mouthpiece, claw your toenails to the canvas, stick your heat into your feet, press down, and go mano a mano. Stay defensively responsible because you want to be able to talk to your grandkids. But you got to realize that those people didn't pay to see you move all night. Anybody can run from the smoke. That's what we don't want. And I'm going to take a question and I'm going to go. The Saudi wants to see entertainment more than not. Absolutely. Carter, you're spot on. And they put on a tremendous event. This event, you had Sierra performing. You had Busta Rhymes performing. You had people putting it on. Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, straight out of the ATL, performed. They spending the kinds of money that they are not making back on these pay-per-views because they're charging $19.99 only for the undercard. Last week with Anthony Joshua, they only charge $15. What they're trying to do is stop people from stealing the streams and giving real boxing fans the opportunity to see big-time boxing. But what you're seeing is these fights. This is the thing. Big-time boxing, requires understanding how to actually knuckle up and go into this thing with some kind of urgency to win the fight. And when they putting on this kind of event, these kind of events don't cost cheddar, they cost real money. You can't exchange rice for these kind of fights. So I'm sorry. Once again, just like Hagler Hearns, just like Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard. See, Hagler won the fight. Sugar Ray won the event. Bivol could have won rounds, but Beterbiev won the event because when he punched with malice. Second quarter of the fight, you saw Beterbiev turn it up, start letting his hands go more. Obviously, a regular guy who's not really good at cutting off the ring wouldn't have had merely the success that he did. But those Saudis, they want to see you throw that smoke. And he threw that smoke. So the third quarter of the fight, the championship rounds, you saw Bivol trying to throw, but you can't move all night and still have legs to sit down on your punches. And so today, earlier, we talked about learning to sit down on your punches. And if you don't know how to sit down on your punches, and I'm going to answer one of the questions. I see a couple of people up here chiming in. Special shouts out to you. Bivol won. Beterbiev was explosive, not to win. Okay. That's your opinion. I felt like the judges, if they typically would have just said, hey, let's give it to him on points. But actually, Beterbiev was on record threw more punches, which it didn't look like that to me. But it's about the punches that you threw, they were effective. One of the mistakes that Beterbiev made that could have ended the fight is he threw little to no body shots. And all night, all I kept seeing is body shots. He could have threw right hooks. He could have threw jabs. He could have used the ring in a way where he was just hitting them to the body, and he wouldn't have had the legs. If you're ever working against a fighter who's moving a lot, just tap him with them hooks to the outside and stab him with the straight jab under. But make sure you cover that hand and go down to that bread basket. He's going to slow down after that because so much oxygen leaves out of his lungs, goes into his belly to try to recover the punches landing. And so it was a good fight. The fight was good. It wasn't a great super fight feel when the fight started. You just know that a guy like Beterbiev could actually end it at any time. And so you're tuning in for that because up until the last bell, it felt like that still. But after the 10th round, you did know that Bivol has the courage and the heart, but he just don't bite down on his mouthpiece. And going into this next generation of boxing, you have to fight. You have to know how to fight, get in there and bite down on your mouthpiece because more judges are going to be swayed to give it to the guy who's trying to make the fight happen. I see you guys up here, you chiming in. What's going on, Money? What's going on, Gio? Chicken boxing days are over. Yeah, it is what it is, man. The bottom line is those championship rounds important. Yes, they were. They were. The championship rounds are important, but moving is fine. You got to move. Don't be stupid. You got dumb people, like people who think moving is stupid. You're not in there getting hit by a professional fighter. So don't be stupid. Moving is a part of it. Clinching is a part of a fight. You're not going to just fight 12 rounds against a killer without any movement, angles, creating. That's boxing. You have to learn how to do that. If you don't get taught how to do that, you won't know how to do it, and your ass will be knocked out, unconscious, sucking your food through a straw. Only stupid people. Don't be stupid and retarded. Boxing is a fucking sport of killers. You got to know how to survive, and then you got to know how to entertain. Then you got to know how to give defense, and then you got to know how to deliver pain. It's a balance. A balance. It's not a street fight in the backyard at your school. It's a balance of understanding skills, techniques, and fortitude, overcoming. But when you stay in survival mode all night, even when you're fighting, you're still in survival mode, then that's a problem with the judging. And that's what you saw tonight. So all of you guys who tuned in to check it out, I'm telling you, you could go over to ESPN Plus. They have it for everybody. You can watch it. No extra cost if you got the subscription. If you do, we're going to do a breakdown of this fight in the School of Boxing group over on Facebook on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're going to show you exactly what you're supposed to do when you're fighting against a longer fighter. And if you have not seen that video, it's over on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, LinkedIn. It's on all platforms. How to handle a longer fighter, which Bivol just had the longer reach. Until today, until the weigh-in, I didn't realize that Beterbiev was the actual taller fighter by an inch. But Bivol had the longer reach by an inch. So when you're fighting a guy like that, there are three ways that you got to close the gap. And I'm not going to tell you here. You just go to my page and you'll see the video, and it explains three ways to close the gap if you're a shorter fighter in that match, and you got to learn how to navigate that thing. So it's three things that you're never thinking about doing. If you follow those three things, you're going to be bad as hell. Go check them out. If you understand boxing, you're going to appreciate it. But this fight right here was definitely one that's going to go down as a big event, a bigger event than it was the boxing match. The thing about it is, I want you guys to know, if you're not a real killer, because if Beterbiev does not win this fight, he doesn't get good fights anymore, because no one wants to fight that killer, and he doesn't market himself. You got to understand that you got to build your own personal brand if you're an athlete. And if you're the actual trainer of these guys, that's what we do. We teach boxing, but we build boxing brands, teaching the people who are in this sport how to be themselves and authentic to who they are, so that these promoters who are going to start picking those guys who are from the misfits, the YouTube fighters like Jake Paul. It's a whole generation of those guys coming now. And these are the guys that are going to actually choose to be on these kind of cards. If you don't build your personal brand up and attract an audience to you, that's what's going to happen. You will be replaced, because I got a guy coming on next week who's going to actually be one of those big time influential fighters who understands the game on both ends. So when you fight, you better be a bad dude, because if Beterbiev doesn't win this fight, he literally would not get another big fight against a guy who actually matters. Trust what I'm saying, because he doesn't bring an audience. And so I want you guys to think about that. And if you're looking to focus on that, get inside of that ring, work on throwing them punches, sitting down in your stance. Like my man Otis said last night, allow your body to settle into those hips and learn how to rip to the body and rip to the head, because that's what people are paying for. They don't have to watch you move around the ring and not throw punches. Learn how to fight like a prize fighter. And if you do that, you'll be all right. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry for the 20-second glitch earlier, but at the end of the day, my name is Eric A. Bradley, coach, that is, and we teach boxing. So long. Subscribe to continue to follow for more.